Hey guys, I'm here with Andry Strong. If you're into calisthenics, you've probably seen him. Today, I'm just going to ask him a few questions about his training and his background, and hopefully give you some insights on how to progress a little bit faster with your calisthenics goals. So, Andry, can you just give a brief introduction of yourself and your background, what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So as Simon say, I check just okay, good.
Nope.
Yeah. As Simon say, I'm Andry Strong. So I started my calisthenics journey 11 years ago, 2012, in a small village of Ukraine, where we didn't have any park, we didn't have a good horizontal bar, we didn't have any good equipment, and there was no video on YouTube, or we didn't have Instagram. I didn't have internet, and I started learning everything through failure and success, in my own experience about it's work well, it doesn't work, and just like going to the fail, and then one moment, okay, good, then again fail, and then good, and just learning, and every time for the last 11 years I try to push through to the limit, and like you can see, I always try to create something new, I always try to create a new variation, and that's why people love my content.
Yeah, and I think your training style is a bit unique, so we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
But I think some things people will be interested in. Can you let us know your age, your weight, and your height?
Yeah, I am 27 years old, then I'm 166 centimeters, I don't know how much it's in feet, 166 centimeters and 73 kg right now. My perfect weight is 73, 74.
Great.
So especially for planche, for calisthenics, like equal about height and weight, I'm a little bit overweight.
Yep.
Yeah, because normally it should be less. But I prefer be muscular, have a biceps. Yeah.
And your main goals seem to be upper body calisthenics, things like the planche, front lever, handstand push-up. One thing that's a little bit controversial in the calisthenics world is leg training. Do you train your legs?
Once a year.
Once a year, perfect. And why is that?
Okay, first is I don't want to spend a lot of energy and time for the legs, because legs require a lot of nutrition to recover, a lot of energy spent during the workout. And then if after the legs you do your skills, or even before the legs, it's not worth it. So, and of course, heavy legs, big, huge legs, it's affect on all horizontal movement. It will not affect on the handstand, but it will affect in a planche, front lever, human flag, all of this.
Handstand push-up as soon as you lean.
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing, I think it's worth talking about this point a little bit, because on social media, things are very polarizing, and people either say, you shouldn't train your legs because it will make planche impossible, or they will say, you have to train your legs to be a balanced athlete. And I think the truth is in between.
Yeah.
If leg training is important to you, having big legs, having aesthetic legs is important to you, train them. But having heavier legs will make your planche harder, no doubt about it.
Yes.
If you want to see, put some ankle weights wherever you want to have your muscle.
Exactly.
However, you can still, many people have still achieved the planche with heavy legs. So my boy Denton comes to mind, very strong powerlifter. He's 93 kilos, about 5'10", and he's holding the planche pretty well. So you can do it, but it will make it harder.
Yeah.
Think about your priorities.
Also look, for example, sometimes I train with the ankle weight and I put extra weight on my ankle, and my maximum was I put like 2 kg on each leg, and I hold 15 seconds full planche. So can you imagine when you put 4 kg on the end of your leg, and I can hold 15 seconds. So
of course, yeah. It will be a bit different because, muscle here is different to muscle here, but yeah, same sort of principle.
And when people write on Instagram a lot like, oh, you should train legs, oh, you should be like aesthetic. I don't going to present myself on a stage, on a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah.
I don't need aesthetic my legs,
Yeah.
It's the same if you will tell to the cyclist, train upper body.
Yeah. Yeah, you should ask them why they want you to be aesthetic. What do they intend to do with that?
Exactly. What do you need? You focus more.
Why do you need me to have bigger legs? You're known for being the planche master. You're one of the best planche athletes in the world right now. How long did it take you to achieve the planche?
Straddle planche?
Straddle planche.
3 weeks.
And full planche?
3 months, even less.
And how long could you hold the straddle planche for after 3 weeks?
After 3 weeks, I could hold like 5 seconds. Good one, clean one.
Yep.
And then when I achieved 10-second straddle planche, good one, three planche push-ups, 3 straddle planche push-up, straddle planche press to handstand. I moved to the full planche.
Okay, and after 3 months, how long could you hold a straddle and a full?
Full was like 3 seconds easy,
Yep.
and I don't remember actually straddle planche for how long, but more than 10 seconds.
Okay, great. And when you say you learned this in 3 weeks, how strong were you before?
Okay, this is important because always when people ask, oh, in how many months or weeks can I learn the planche? So I always say, learn the planche when you have a good basic strength.
Yep.
That's what's happened with me. My strength was already good.
Yep.
I could do 25 pull-up,
Yep.
then more than 70 push-up,
Yep.
and around 50-60 dips.
Okay, great.
So what I recommend that focus basic and then skills.
And this is a good time to address how long will it take me to learn a skill, because Andry is obviously made for the planche. You know, he's has a big upper body, he has reasonably short legs, light legs. There's so much variation in people, how long people's arms are, how long people's legs are, how heavy people's legs are, how easily you put on muscle, how strong your muscles are when they contract. And I think you can make some on average statements, like on average people learn the straddle planche in 1 to 2 years. Or
I would say straddle planche, it starts from 3 months up to 2 years.
2 years, yeah. So you can look at these wide ranges, but you have to remember that this is a bell curve. There's lots of variation. Andry is obviously made for the planche, super strong, has a lot of potential. He's one of the guys who will learn it the fastest and have the most potential. Some other people will learn it much slower or not even have as much potential to, you know, some people train the planche for 10 years, never get it. They might be very tall, heavy legs, but it just goes to show you there's a lot of variation. So when you're wondering how long it's going to take to learn a skill, I think it's worth understanding that nobody can tell you. It depends on many factors out of your control and factors in your control, such as your nutrition, how hard you train, etc.
And you have to remember that we are all different. Exactly.
Yeah,
we are all different. You can even practice, like 2 person can do the same routine, everything's the same, but their progress will be completely different.
exactly. So one thing I found very interesting from training with you is your approach to training and just how much work you do. So can you let me know what your week of training looks like? And I want to get into kind of how many sets for the planche and for the handstand push-up do you do over the course of a week?
Okay, so about my week, every day I have a push.
Yep.
Every day. But it's
7 days?
Yes,
Okay.
every day I have a push.
Yep.
But one day it can be more focused on a planche and handstand push-up.
Yep.
The second day it can be more handstand push-up.
Okay.
Yeah. And every second day I do pull workout. Yeah. And about the one day, how it can look.
Yep.
So I can do like about the planche.
Yep.
It's good. It's gonna be like 4 or 5 exercises for the planche
Yep.
and around 4 or 6 sets. So total for the planche is gonna be over 25 sets.
Okay, so you do 25 sets of pushing for the planche on planche days.
Yeah.
And is it similar on handstand push-ups, 4 or 5 exercises?
No, in this handstand push-up, it's gonna be like weighted handstand push-up, then 90-degree handstand push-up, and then regular handstand push-up.
Okay.
It can be more close to 20
sets. Okay, so you train 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I just want to just put some numerical values on this.
Yes.
So you train
7
pushing.
days.
You train pushing 7 days a week.
Yes.
The planche and handstand push-up use similar muscles. So let's say for the
Yes.
anterior deltoids, you're training 20 to 25 sets.
Yes.
So let's just take the lower end of that. We'll say 20 sets.
Yes.
7 days a week for the
Yes.
deltoids. That is 140 sets of pushing a week.
Yeah.
And most of those sets, are they to failure, close to failure, not close to failure?
It's close to failure, and some, I think more than 50% is to failure.
Okay.
Because I like to train to failure.
And when you say close to failure, you mean 1 rep, 2 reps?
No, when I say close to
5
fail,
seconds.
it's mean like I can't like close like to fail, but I feel there is still 1% of power. You know?
Okay, so we can say you do roughly 140 sets of pushing to failure or very close to failure per week.
Yeah.
So when you speak to the evidence-based or listen to the evidence-based people talking on social media, they often recommend somewhere between 10 and 30 sets per week per muscle group as a starting point. This just goes to show you how much variation there is between people, and that high volumes can be tolerated very well when you're accustomed to it. So I think Andrew is very unique because you've been doing planche for a long time.
You know, also very interesting, like, it's now 7 times per week, but before it was 14 times per week.
Because you did 2 sessions a day?
Yeah, so 1 session a day. In the morning it was more about the basic.
Yep.
And in the evening it was skill.
Okay, so this
So
is crazy, man.
there it's even more interesting. And when I moved to the 1 session, it's after Dengue.
Yep.
Before Dengue, I had a 2 session in morning and evening.
So like 200 sets of pushing per week, maybe.
Yeah, I think, I need to count. I think there was a lot. And in Ukraine, especially when I was in Ukraine, in the morning I have aerial strap skills or rings practice.
Yep.
And then in the evening it was most planche almost every day.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's crazy.
So yeah.
But this is very interesting because if you speak to high-level athletes, you'll see that different athletes have different approaches. So we spoke before about Denton, who's a very strong calisthenics guy and powerlifter, and his training approach is very different. He trains quite frequently, but he does a lot of his planche training is shy of failure. So it just goes to show you can make good progress with different approaches, and it's about
it's also like personal. For
personal
someone,
preference.
it's gonna be too high and they're gonna be like overtraining. For some, it can be cool and they can still pushing and see the progress. It's also about how you construct your program.
Yes.
If you will construct only 20 sets, only like a planche push-up, it can be work. But if you construct is supinated planche push-up, then press to the handstand, then like different variation, and all this contract different muscle, like
same muscle group but different muscle fibers.
Yeah.
And it goes to show that even if something works on average equally well, like for example hypertrophy, you want to build muscle, you on average sets of 5 to 30 reps build muscle equally well when taken to or close to failure. But this is looking at group differences on average, and each individual person may respond better to higher reps or lower reps. So when you have a crossover design where they start with high reps, look at muscle growth, finish with low reps, look at muscle growth, and vice versa, you see that some people respond better to one style and some people respond better to another style. So just because something works on average doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
I combine both, low rep and high rep.
I agree. I think it's a great way to train.
It's perfect, yeah.
Sorry.
And also, like you can see, I also combine a lot isometric.
Yes. So. Another thing I think that would be useful is you're obviously a very high-level athlete. You're one of, if not the best at what you do. But you have a lot of beginners that follow you.
Yeah.
People want to learn their first tuck planche. They want to get to 10 chin-ups. They want to get to 10 push-ups. Do you have any tips for the beginners?
Yeah. First, what I can recommend is focus on the technique. It's very important, even like it's a pull-up. So to feel your muscle, to feel how you can engage your muscle. If you just do keeping, you will not growing well and you can even injure yourself. First, it's very important, it's follow the technique, not rush, to have a good system, to feel your body, to increase your muscle connection, and do every point slowly with the control. It's very important. For the planche, what I can recommend for the beginner, they should practice only maximum like 3 times a week for the planche. If they're gonna practice more, then also they have a risk to hurt themselves, especially the wrist, forearm, biceps. So, and not more than around like from 10 to 15 sets, not more.
Per session?
Yeah.
Perfect. Last question before we run out of time. You've been training for 11 years.
Yeah.
You're constantly pushing yourself and you've been making great progress through all of this time. How do you stay motivated or disciplined or in a routine that allows you to continue to make progress?
So actually there's not always motivation.
Yes, that's...
there is no motivation.
Even for Andry Strong.
No, there is not really like motivation where you can push always with the same fire inside, but I wake up every day and I see my goal. I understand what I have to do and I just do like, even it's a small step, I just move to my goal. Small, step by step, I move to my goal. So Without discipline, you cannot move to you cannot achieve your goal. You cannot achieve your biggest result. Motivation help you to make a first step. It's all.
Yeah.
But then, like, oh, I don't have motivation. It's just like, so I lie, and it's all. But if you have a good discipline, if you have a strong spirit inside, and then you just follow discipline, wake up every day and push. Doesn't matter, you feel bad, it's a bad rain, or you have a job, or you have a wife who say like, oh, I want to make a shopping. Just push, push and push. Some people can find excuses like, oh, I don't have a time. You have a time. You have a time. You back from job and you can training. That was with me like first year when I start my social media. I wake up at 5. I have some student in the morning, like from 5 to 8. Then from 8 to 8 p.m. I have a video shooting, like non-stop. Then wife bring me food on the sport park. I have a lunch in my sport park. Then I have a training. Then at evening time, I back home. I do work, other coaches, other students. Then I go sleep around like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I sleep few hours, So even, no excuses.
So even you, I think a lot of people starting calisthenics, they see guys like you and they think, man, this guy must just wake up and want to do planche every minute. No. So there's even days, or would you say there's often days when you don't want to train, but you do it anyway?
Yeah. It's actually it can happen often. Especially when you're already like in a high level, and it's start to be harder to push. Because
the progress is slower.
Keep the high level, you have to push way harder to even keep this level. But if you want to progress, you have to push twice harder than you pushed before. Like you're just beginning, you can do one push-up, few push-ups, and you already see progress. But in the high level, no. And in this point, you have discipline because you even don't see progress, but you're still pushing. You wake up and you're still pushing. Even sometimes you can see regress and you're still pushing.
Do you think that just once you realize that you need to have discipline, you start doing this every day, it gets easier because you built a habit?
Because what happened, in beginning when I start, I think there was more motivation and sometimes I could even take a break like for 1 week even did a practice. But then I realized to not take a break more than 2 weeks. It was like for me like, okay, no breaks and more 2 weeks and just push. Even like 20 minutes if you have a day, train. Train, and train. If you take a break, no.
I agree, and I think that's a great tip for beginners. And it's helped me when after surgery, getting back into things, when I've gone from doing no activity to training again. It can be really hard to start a new sport, a new habit, a new training program where you go from doing nothing to training 1 hour a day. So if you just set a small goal, each day I'm going to do 1 set of push-ups. Over time it gets easier, it becomes a habit, you can start adding more volume and that will help a great deal.
And like every second day you can check, okay, let's do 1 more push-up. And then like 1 more push-up.
Exactly.
And then you can reach 100 reps.
Agreed.
I have one thing which I would like to add. Now, you can see on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, a lot of like influencers who show their life. But in real life, it's not such cool as they show. And if you feel like, oh, I'm not such cool as this guy, I can't do it from first attempt. Trust me, we also didn't do everything from first attempt. Or we don't have such life like, oh, you're always motivated, you are fine. No. We also struggle. Even if I do some video, some cool skill, I can spend even 100 attempts to do the skill, but I'm still struggle. It's not everything that easy, like you can see on Instagram and TikTok. Just hard work, and then you will success. You will achieve success.
Yeah.
Just hard work, and you will achieve success.
I think that's all we got time for. We got to go teach a planche workshop together. So I hope you guys got some insights from Andry. Andry, before we leave, can you just let people know where to find you?
If you want to find me, just go into my Instagram, Andry Strong. If you find me on YouTube, just go in Andry Strong. So every social platform, Andry Strong.
Thanks, man.
Oop.
We'll do that again. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.